Good evening, YouTube. It's your boy GZTV, and we're back with another video, another recap of NBA action. Um, yeah, let's get straight into it. I don't really have anything to say at the beginning of this video. We're gonna start with the Bulls and the Hornets. Levine returns, but Nikola Vucevic is the one to dominate, and a big Bulls win because it's really giving them more games to kind of stay out of the elimination category. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let's look at the box score. Vucevic put up 29 and 14. One of my favorite centers in the league, to be honest with you. I've been riding with him for a while. I've been a fan. On the other side, PJ Washington had 24. Shout out to him, but really nothing to show for anyone else. Like LaMelo's putting up 4, 9, and 4. Like, it's nothing special. You guys should have saw all along that Anthony Edwards was going to be the better rookie. Malik Monk had 20 off the bench. I didn't see that. Okay. Good for Malik. Good for Malik. Yeah, let's get into the next game. Next game was Nets and Mavericks. I was looking forward to this being a good one, and it was a good one. It was a good one. Kyrie put up 45 points, but the Nets fall to the Mavericks. This is their 4th straight loss. There was a finals prediction at the beginning of the year of Nets and Lakers, and both of these teams are slowly starting to fall apart. The Nets are in a lot better situation than the Lakers, but I'm just saying the Nets are losing a lot of momentum in these games, and yeah, it's getting really close. The top 3 are getting really close, so let's check out this box score. KD dropped a smooth 20 points. Blake Griffin had 10 and 10, double-double, nice. Irving had 45, that's great, but they still lost. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 23, and Luka had 24 and 10. Dwight Powell had 12 and 10 off the bench, so good for the Mavericks. The Mavericks get a big win to solidify that game ahead of the Lakers. Moving on, Pistons and Grizzlies. Wow, this really sucks for the Grizzlies. The Pistons get an upset win. It's very tough. It's a tough loss for Memphis. This is not a game you want to lose at this point in the season. And you lost by 14, so it wasn't a close game either. Looking at the box score, Valanciunas had 19 and 16, doing big man things there. Ja Morant had 20. If you were to blame anyone for this, I'd blame Brooks. In 36 minutes, 9 points off of 4 for 16 and 0 for 7 three-pointer. That's not a good look. That's probably what lost them the game, to be honest. Looking at the Pistons side, nothing too flashy. Corey Joseph put up 18 and 11, but it was just a really good team game for them, and they're just out there ruining people's playoff hopes, or at least trying to, and they're trying to tonight. Next is Pacers and Hawks. I did not think the Pacers were going to be able to beat the Hawks, but here we are. Pacers beat the Hawks 133 to 126. Sabonis and LeVert were the leaders of that one. It was a big win for them. The Wizards won tonight, so they had to win, and that's clutch. Looking at the Hawks, Hawks played a really good game. They couldn't really do much about it. Pacers were just on one tonight. John Collins at 25. Trae Young at 30 and 10. Bogdanovich at 28. Man, Bogdanovich is a stud. He's continuing to play amazing. Amazing. And on the other side, Sabonis had 30. Karis LeVert had 31 and 12. Karis LeVert, man, coming back from his injury. I forgot what it was. Someone thought he might have had cancer. It was a big scare in the league for a while, but he came back from that, and now he's playing better, just about as good as he's ever played in his career. Next was Wizards and Raptors. Honestly, I was rooting for the Raptors in this one, even though the Wizards are one of my favorite teams in the league. With Russell Westbrook, I love Russell Westbrook, man. He's one of the most respected players for me in the league. He's done so much. He's making history. He's one triple-double away from Oscar Robertson. Wizards squeezed it out in OT. Raptors are trying as hard as they could to make it come back. Siakam almost made a game-winning 3. It's pretty close. Lopez and Nato both scored 20+, and that's big. That's really what helped them win this game. Look at the stat line from Westbrook. He had 13, 17, and 17. It's just crazy. Yeah, Nato had 25. He hit some clutch free throws down the stretch as well. Bradley Beal had 28. Robin Lopez in 23 minutes had 24 off of 6 for 8 shooting. Great stuff there. Looking at the Raptors, Siakam had 44. See, I didn't even know Siakam had 44, and also 11 boards. So Siakam had a great game. Stanley Johnson literally had 0 points in 29 minutes. Maybe that's who you blame. He shot 2 shots and missed both of them. I mean, he fouled out too. Maybe you blame him for that, but Van Vliet had 22. Gary Trent had 25 off of 5 for 10. Gary Trent is a great shooter, man. I love that man, Gary Trent. He's a great player. Anyways, moving on to the next game. The Warriors dominate OKC. Mulder scores 25 off the bench. Really, this wasn't a hard game for the Warriors. They won by 21. It was an easy win to kind of help them get some playoff position. Darius Bazley had 22. I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. I kind of rhymed there. You got to give credit where it's due. He's kind of going off for the Thunder lately. Off the bench, Ty Jerome had 23. That's pretty nice. Good for him. The guy out of the championship Virginia team. I watched that game. Looking at the Warriors, 34 for Curry. 25 for Mulder off the bench, like I said. So, an overall really good game there. Yeah, let's move on to the last and final game. We're going to talk about this game quite a bit because there's a terrible situation going on with the Lakers, and it's just going to get worse and worse as the season goes on. But first, let's talk about the game itself. Pathetic performance, man. Even without LeBron, this is a pathetic performance. Like, we're talking 2 double-digit scorers on their team. One of them was a starter, and one of them was a bench player. Now, I don't know what happened to Anthony Davis. He only played 9 minutes tonight, and I didn't watch much of the game because I had work and stuff. I don't know what happened, but Kuzma had 25. Useless. I mean, good for you, Kuzma. You scored 25 points in 31 minutes. Decently efficient, decent shooting from the field. But, like, it's nothing. It means nothing in the end because the Clippers were dominant. Were dominating you guys. I mean, you allowed them to shoot 53% from the field as a team. Maybe they were just good shooters, but 40% from 3 too as a team. Like, I mean, Paul George had 24 points. Shout out to PG. He's kind of breaking that pandemic curse he's had going on. But let's take some time to talk about the LeBron situation. So apparently LeBron is going to miss. He missed tonight's game. He's gonna miss. I think they have a game tomorrow against the Trailblazers. Oh, wow. That's a big L. That is a game you do not want to miss. Trailblazers, I think they might be able to kick the Lakers out of the playoffs for now, though. For now. I'm not going to say permanently, but for now. And it wouldn't be permanently anyways because they could possibly win the play-in. And it just really sucks because in the playoffs, LeBron's going to have to deal with this ankle soreness even if he comes back this Sunday. I don't know who they're playing this Sunday, but he's planning as of now to come back this Sunday. And he's going to have to deal with ankle soreness for the rest of the year. And the Lakers are on the verge of playing in a play-in tournament. That's extra games for LeBron. So if you make the playoffs, like, that gives you like 5 extra days of rest. Obviously, they're going to practice, but you need rest too. LeBron needs rest. So the essential here is for the Lakers to somehow squeeze into the playoffs. AD and Kuzma have a couple big games, and they might just be on their way to the playoffs, and LeBron will be very proud of the team if that happens. But until then, I don't know. It's really going to suck for the Lakers down the stretch. I don't see them winning the championship this year with this injury for LeBron. He's really not used to dealing with this, but hey, if they win, that's just going to add more to his legacy. He's just going to keep piling up championships, and that's good for LeBron. So, looking at the playoff picture, a lot has been happening in the top 3 in the East, so let's talk about it. Philadelphia is in first. 2.5 games behind them is the Brooklyn. That's a whole 2.5 games now. The Nets were just in first like 4 or 5 games ago. Milwaukee is only half a game away from this Nets team, and I think tomorrow they play the Rockets. Like, they're gonna shred the Rockets, so this is not good. This is not good for Brooklyn, and the Bucks have beat them twice, so they'd win the tiebreaker. Yeah. So, And then a whole 5 games behind the Bucks, so top 3 is pretty much sealed, is the Knicks. A game behind is the Hawks. They're a whole game behind. And Boston, we are a game behind Atlanta. Who does Atlanta play tomorrow? Oh, they just played tonight. Never mind. Who do they play Saturday? They don't play Saturday either. They get 2 games off, I guess. Where are the Hawks at? Am I missing something? I'm missing something. What am I missing? I don't see them on the schedule, like, anywhere. Bro, what are the Hawks playing next? They get, like, 3 days off, and they're playing the Wizards. That'll be a decent game on Monday. So anyways, we're tied with the Heat, but we get the tiebreaker, so we're in the playoffs. We're literally in the playoffs by a tiebreaker. And Timberwolves, Heat tomorrow, so hopefully the Timberwolves can pull off that upset and ruin that hope, and we can beat the Bulls. A whole 3 games behind the Heat are the Hornets, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to catch up to that, which it doesn't matter anyways. Pacers are only a game behind the Hornets, and the Wizards are only half a game behind the Pacers. And then the Bulls are a whole 3.5 games out of playoff contention. That's going to be hard for them. I don't know if that's going to happen, to be honest. And then the Raptors are a half game behind the Bulls. Looking at the West, Utah is still up, and neither of those teams played tonight. Them or the Suns, so the Suns are still a game behind. Now the Clippers, with this win, instead of being 3 games behind, they're only 2.5 games. And now Denver is half a game behind Clippers. And then 6 games behind Dallas are the Mavericks. A game behind the Mavericks are the Lakers and Portland, which we'll see what happens with that. And then Golden State is 3.5 games away from the Trailblazers. The Grizzlies are a half game away from the Warriors. And the Spurs are 1.5 games off of the Grizzlies. And the Pelicans are 1.5 games out of playoff contention. And the Kings are a game behind the Pelicans. So that's pretty much what's going on with the playoff picture. Let's look at tomorrow's games. Celtics and Bulls. My boys play at 6:30. We're just going to start with that because that's my favorite team. We play the Bulls at 6:30. The Bulls are still trying to fight to make the play-in tournament because they're probably not going to make the playoffs. Celtics are fighting to keep in the playoffs, and hopefully the Heat lose. We just need to keep winning games with the Heat, accordingly to the Heat. Next is Pelicans and Sixers. That will be a pretty solid game. The Pelicans are another team that are fighting for playoff contention, and they're not far off at all. If they win and the Spurs lose their next game, Spurs play the Kings. The Kings are pretty freaking good. Pelicans might have a chance. But next, Magic and Hornets. The Magic are out of the playoffs. Again, the Hornets get a team that's kind of low down there, so they need to win this game. The Bulls weren't out of the playoffs, but the Hornets need to win this game. This game is essential. They lost to the Bulls. Now they need to beat the Magic. Timberwolves and Heat. I'm rooting for the Timberwolves, but the Heat really need to beat this team, another team that's out of playoff contention. Next is the Bucks and Rockets, another team that's out of playoff contention, so you'd hope the Bucks will win. And if the Bucks win, I think they take second place, so that's big time. Next is Cavaliers and Mavericks. Mavericks should win this game, and I'm pretty sure they'll be able to. That'll put them like a whole 2 games ahead of the Lakers, and I think the Lakers are going to lose to the Trailblazers. That's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a good one, though, hopefully. Nuggets and Jazz. That's going to be interesting to see how the Jazz play against the Nuggets without Donovan Mitchell. It's going to be a pretty good game. Knicks and Suns. Another pretty good game. Knicks kind of struggled last game, but we'll see what happens there. Last but not least for the night, Spurs and Kings. This could be one of the most interesting games of the night because the Kings are only... Well, they're 2.5 games out of playoff contention, but if they win this, that'll help them and the Pelicans try to make the playoffs. So, yeah, some big stuff going on in the NBA. Keep tuning in. I will update you guys on the playoff picture, the scores, what this means for the future, the playoffs, all that. Just keep watching. I'll keep you guys updated. By the way, let me tell you guys this real quick. I'm going to be camping this weekend with my family. So the next 3 days of NBA action are going to be shot in one episode Sunday night. So just wait until Sunday night. I will give you the full